Controversial plan to deploy the National Guard here in Illinois is now on hold indefinitely.
A federal judge made that ruling yesterday after an agreement between the Trump administration and the state of Illinois to keep the troops off the streets until the case is resolved either here or in the Supreme Court.
So to unpack what this all means and what's next, or what could be next, we're joined now by our legal analyst, Irv Miller. Irv, thanks for coming in this morning.
Good morning.
So were you surprised that both of the sides agreed on this? That's first. And also, how long do you think it could be until we do hear something either from the local judge or from the Supreme Court?
Well, from the Supreme Court, you could hear any moment, frankly. It's in the hands of Justice Barrett. She could either decide it herself or refer to the rest of the justices to make a decision. But there's an issue now because of what happened yesterday. When both sides agreed to this stay, which means an indefinite stay, the Supreme Court may turn around and say, hey, listen, this issue's moot. We're not going to decide this issue.
Why?
We're going to send it back to the Seventh Circuit because the Supreme Court likes there to be a controversy or a case for them to decide. With the stay in effect, that could mean there's no controversy at all. The government agreed to have an indefinite stay. And don't forget, last week, when they filed this with the Supreme Court, they said, you should hear this immediately without the state of Illinois even filing a response because our agents are at risk and we're worried about them. And then 5 days later, they tell the Supreme Court, hey, we'll agree to an indefinite stay.
Oh, that's really interesting. So when a ruling comes down, if it comes down from the Supreme Court, I would imagine there'll be wider implications nationwide, or no?
Well, I think the government is hoping that the Portland case ends up in the Supreme Court, because don't forget, in the Portland case, the appellate court actually agreed with the government that it's okay to deploy troops. That's not the case in Illinois. So I suspect that the Supreme Court will either say, hey, they'll issue an opinion very shortly, or they'll say, we're not going to hear this case at all.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we want to get to one more topic with you while we have you here, and it's the murder trial happening in Peoria for former Deputy Sean Grayson. What stood out to you yesterday in court? I know we heard witness testimony, and one of the big things we heard was from his former partner, Grayson's former partner. What did you think about him changing his story?
I don't think I've really seen a situation where one partner testifies against a partner in a criminal case. In my career as a prosecutor or as a criminal defense attorney, it doesn't happen. So especially in a high-profile case like that, for an officer to get on the stand and say, hey, listen, I wasn't in fear, then the jury has to say, well, if he wasn't in fear of his life, why was Mr. Grayson in fear of his life, and basically shoot this woman and killing her.
So you think he could be a good witness for the prosecution?
Well, he's a good witness. However, he comes with some baggage, because in his report, when he filed it on the night in question, he said, yes, I was in fear as well. And he decided, you know, he saw the light of day somehow, and all of a sudden he changed his opinion. Anytime a witness changes their story, whether it be under oath or in a police report, that's not good for one side or the other.
So it could undermine his credibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they could say, okay, this is not credible, because when it happened, he said that he agreed with Grayson on this.
Exactly. And you never know what piece of evidence a jury's going to hang their hat on. And that is one type of evidence that really could sway one or two jurors one way or the other.
We have Charlie DeMar in the courtroom today. What are you watching for today as we hear more witness testimony? Whether
or not there's going to be enough evidence to come in that would justify the defense to ask the judge to instruct the jury on second-degree murder, not just first-degree murder.
All right. CBS legal analyst Irv Miller, always happy to have you join us to talk about anything that's relevant at the time.
Yeah, we need you, Irv. We're like, tell us how this works. Thank you.